Hey, welcome to a Real Estate Wisdom podcast by Wish, where we're going to explore today a lesser discussed aspects of the property world or real estate world, I should say. I'm your host, Vishal Kapoor, your friend in real estate, and today we going to discuss or diving into a topic that's close to my heart, and that is real estate and mental health. Well, we focus on how to deal with the nuances that can affect our well being during real estate transactions. So, let's get started. Real estate transactions are often cited as one of the life's most stressful events. Right up there with the divorce and job losses, whether you're buying, selling, or investing, the process can take a toll on your mental health. Today, we explore some common nuances in real estate and how to manage them for better mental well being. I know it can be so stressful, even when you're selling, when you buying, in when you're selling, you have to prepare the house for selling, right? That's what we ask for, and cleaning, decluttering, throwing things away, lot of stress. And then on top of that, you have to do showings. You have to keep it vacant. If you're living over there, that could be difficult. And you have to manage the scheduling, timing, very stressful. And then you're staging, and now you cannot sit on someplace. Your house doesn't feel like your own house, right? Painting, landscaping, you have to, a lot of work you have to do to prepare it. And during the process, also, my clients and whoever's selling, they get so stressed, right? And if you have a kids or pets, what are you going to do with them? So it can be very stressful. It's like the emotional roller coaster of buying and selling. So first, let's talk about the emotional roller coaster that comes with buying or selling a property. The excitement of finding your dream home can quickly turn to an anxiety when you offer isn't accepted or a safe sale falls through at the last minute. So that's a buyer's anxiety. But I know we talk about this, but how we going to deal with it? So today's episode is recognizing those nuances. And we're going to look into that, how to deal with it. So in this case, remember, it's okay to feel these emotions, first of all. First time, you have to acknowledge that, right? Acknowledge them, but don't let them control you. Practice mindfulness techniques like deep breathing or meditation to stay grounded. Also maintain a support systems of friends, family, or even a therapist to talk through your feelings. I know even some cases, and most of the cases, the argument happens between husband and wife because they're not agreeing to one thing. One saying, hey, I like this kind of house. The other person saying, I like this kind of house, and they're not agreeing to it, which can be very stressful, isn't it? So that's not the only thing. There's many others, the stress of financial decisions. Making significant financial decisions can be incredibly stressful, like arranging for down payment. The fear of overpaying for a property or not getting enough for your home can keep you up at night as well. Now, how to deal with it? Educate yourself about the market. Knowledge is power, and can help elevate an anxiety. Work with a trusted financial advisor to understand your budget and options clearly. Remember, a well-informed decision is usually a less stressful one. When you know what things going to happen, because you're looking for like things can happen because you buying your first home or you selling your home first time. And that can be, and if you don't know the plans, if you don't know what is going to look like and how to expect unexpected, it can be very stressful. I know, I see with my clients all the time. The other thing which happens, like, difficulty dealing with difficult people, they're all around us, right? Tell me, like as a realtor, I deal with like a difficult people all the time. But also understanding, like, from buyer or seller's perspective, in case like a seller, for example, you're dealing with the handyman, you're dealing with the painter, or like a difficult people, like who's giving you the hard time, not coming on time, not doing things on time, and that can be very stressful. So, like I said, all real estate transactions often involve doing with various personality, some more challenging than others, whether it's a stubborn seller or a picky buyer or an uncooperative agent, right? Difficult people can significantly impact your mental health. So, how to deal with it? Set clear boundaries and communicate assertively. Don't be afraid to take breaks from negotiations if you feel overwhelmed. If necessary, let your agent be the buffer in challenging interactions. He should be the buffer, like, and he should be the one, or she should be the one, will be taking care of that. And good agents, like they do. We're going to talk later about it, like, what you should expect from your realtor in making it less stressful for you, right? So we're going to talk later about it, but look into the other things which can be stressful. The pressure of timelines. Timelines are so important in real estate transactions, right? When the deposit is going to happen, when its condition is going to be waived, by what time you have to home inspection need to be done, and so many things, like, which happens, like, which required like a deadlines are there, like the timelines are there. And all the real estate deals often come with tight deadlines, which can create a constant sense of urgency and pressure, right? Be prepared for that. How to deal with it? Again, create a detailed timeline and checklist to stay organized. Break big tasks into smaller, manageable steps. Don't hesitate to ask for extensions if needed. Remember, your mental health is important too. So there's always a way, but knowing that timeline and having that task list, so you know what's coming and be prepared for it. The fear of the unknown, right? Uncertainty is a big part of real estate transactions. I know as a realtor, like sometime I don't know what's next going to happen. Most of the time from the past experience and everything, because we're dealing with those things all the time, we anticipate what might problem going to be happening. For example, if as a realtor, I'm asking for you to be prepared with all the paperwork, like your tax papers, if you tell me, like, what your utility providers are, their name, numbers, contact information, any repairs you have done, you have the bill for that, your IDs, like that's the one first thing we should be doing and asking about your IDs, because we have to report to FinTrack and everything, right? So in that way, you able to focus on what you can control, prepare for various scenarios, and have contingency plans. Remember, not everything will go perfectly. We as professional realtors, like, from experience, we can tell you, like, how things can happen and what you can expect. And there can be different scenarios. And we have those arsenal to how to deal with them if that situation arises, right? And that's what makes the difference between a professional, good realtor, experienced realtor versus somebody who's new to the industry. They might have some experience from the back, which they're bringing their soft skills to this profession. But if you don't know the nitty gritty, that can be a problem, or it can be a stressful. Um, in both the cases, I will say it's okay to have flexibility and adaptability because that's a key. If you're flexible and adaptable, it will be less stressful. Other things happen, like even the transaction happened, like, post-purchase anxiety. So even after closing, you might experience what's known as buyer's remorse or post-purchase anxiety. Thoughts like, did I make the right decision? We all question that once in a while. Or what if I find something better? Can plague new homeowners. I have seen a lot of time. How to deal with it? Well, remind yourself of the reasons you made this decision. And that's such an important thing to do. Having that reminder, why you're doing it, right? Focus on the positives of your new property. If you're struggling, consider talking to again, mental health professional who can help you work through these feelings. But it is an emotional decision. Real estate is an emotional, so much emotions involved. And sometimes I feel like, I'm more work like a counselor than a realtor itself. But that's a part of the job. We have to deal with emotions. We have to control those emotions. And we have to tap on those emotions as well when we're doing those negotiations. So, but like I said, if you know what is the reason why you're making that decision, that can be less stressful. Now coming to my part, what your realtor can do to help you with stress during your buying and selling journey. Now listen to this, this is so important. Clear communication. I will say, in any good relationship, having that clear, untimely manner, the communication is so important. So regular updates, your realtor should provide frequent, clear updates on the progress of your transaction. Availability, that's the other important part. They should be readily available to answer questions and address concerns promptly, because again, time is the essence. Explanation of processes. That should be done on the very first meeting, after understanding your needs and everything. That explanation of process, a good realtor will explain complex real estate processes in easy to understand terms. But even in the starting they do, I have for example, homebuyer guide or seller guide. It have a checklist of things which need to be done. But most often happen, people don't read it. Or even I narrate at that thing, in the first, in how the process will look like. People forget because they're not doing every day. And I have to repeat that stuff, which is okay for me. But also at the same time, what I expect from my clients to understand that process so it make it easier for them. So it doesn't come out you didn't tell me before, and I was not expecting that. I don't have the funds, for example, for deposit, or I never anticipated that I have to pay for the home inspection. All that kind of things, what the process look like and what's going to happen. So explanation of processes is such an important aspect. Your realtor should be proactively problem solving. So what I mean by that is experienced realtor can often foresee potential problems and address them before they become major stressors. So from the past experience, they can tell what might happen, right? Let's say about the rental process. In the rental process, it also happened. I always ask for all the documents, their employment letter, their credit report, their references, rental application fully filled will be all the information. Until I get those, I don't start showings. And that's my standard. Like that's how I do it, because now I know what I have, so I don't have to wait for the last moment. Because this, when you go and seeing property and everything and you want to put an offer, and if you don't have a documents, you might get the another offer and you probably lose it. It happened with me like recently, and it was for the same reason. I was telling my clients to be prepared, be ready, and say, yeah, I'm ready. Like, everything is going to be there. And when we go and see the property, and it's my bad a little bit because I didn't say, hey, I haven't got your documents yet, because this is my clients from past, and that's a repeat client. And I anticipated that they get it and they have all that stuff. But turn out, and they could have done it because it was, the system was down that day, right? Some technical issues happen and I'm not able to get it. And we lost that property. So be ready for unexpected, like that can happen. So if you are anticipating issues, and I anticipate those kind of issues, if something happened last moment, so you're prepared. The other thing they have to do is quick resolution. When issues do arise, your realtor should work quickly to find solutions. Not I'm going to do it later, today, tomorrow, because I'm busy with the other transactions. They must have some quick resolution ready for that. Another important aspect, was a very most important aspect, is having negotiation skills. A skilled realtor can handle tough negotiation on your behalf, reducing your direct stress. I know, so many times, and I have done my certified negotiation expert certification just to understand, how negotiation happen, and in a calm manner, not being too aggressive on that, because when you go too aggressive, sometimes you lose that deal. And you need to know, your realtor need to know when need to be aggressive and when need to be calm. And it's not only looking aggression as the one side win only. It's need to be a win-win situation. One, it's for what isn't for them. If they're going to reduce the price, or they install something, for example, what's in it for them? What's in for sellers? So having that strong negotiation skills is such an important factor. And if you're not, when you're interviewing a realtor, you should ask those questions. How he dealt with the tough negotiations. And he should be able to give you some examples, where he dealt with the difficult situations and how he dealt with that, right? Other important aspect, an emotional support. I know some of the realtors can be very rough and tough because that's what the thing, because they don't want to get involved in that emotional stuff. But you will need that, right? So they should have empathy. Your realtor should understand and validate your feelings throughout the process. Positive perspective. They can help you maintain a positive outlook even when forced with setbacks. So in this scenario, when I was talking about, because my clients know me, and I said, hey, it's probably not meant to be, but hey, there's an alternative where the better property is coming in, and we're going to put an offer on that. But make sure I get all the documents this time before we go and see the property, right? So having that positive perspective is such an important aspect. Calm presence, right? A composed realtor can help keep you calm during tense moments. When they say, I'm not going to do this, or the seller or buyer is asking for some hard things to do, for example, in the lease process, a renter can ask, oh, there was so many bad patches in the house. Can you doing the repaint? Repaint costs a lot, right? And people not getting rent these days, they're paying more mortgages. So can they do the extra money? And that's where it come can they spend extra money? And that's where comes the expert realtor, like in how to negotiate that kind of situations, right? So having had the calm presence, nothing beats expert guidance. For example, market knowledge. Your realtor should provide expert insights into market conditions to help you make informed decisions. And those market conditions is like a not necessarily like when looking at the general. It can be specific to that neighborhood, that town, city, specific to that kind of house as well. So they need to know that completely, right? Referrals. They should be able to recommend trusted professionals like home inspectors, mortgage brokers, and lawyers, right? Even people looking for like a landscaping guy, your stager, most of them like are involving these days anyway. It's a part of their package, but also looking into other things like a plumber, for example. And this is like, all the realtors, they should have these things. Like, a lot of time I get the calls from my neighborhood just because of that, because they know I might need some professional who I work with, who are reliable, who come on time, don't charge too much. So your realtor should have those referral partners, right? Pricing strategy. For sellers, a realtor can help set a competitive price to reduce time on market and associated stress. And this thing, like, it's a hard one, because even your realtor tell you something, and if you believe in something, how much your house worth, you should listen to him. You should listen to her, because they're doing day in and out. Because your neighbor's house sold for that particular price, not necessarily what the price he's telling you is the same as that one. And there are different aspects for that, like how we calculate, like what's the right price is going to be. Or when it's time to reduce the price. So don't stick with your numbers only because that's how much you're worth. Believe me or not, like your realtor knows better most of the time. Not all the time. But that's why you sit down and have a reason, like why it should be priced such way, right? So they should help you with the pricing strategy. And that's our job, right? The other thing is like a time-saving assistance. Paperwork management, scheduling, filtering your buyers. So paperwork management, your realtor should handle and explain all necessary paperwork, reducing your administrative burden. So rather than just sending out the paper to you, he should be able to explain that for you. And a lot of times, like, my buyers or sellers say, hey, I trust you, I haven't read it, but I'm just signing it, trusting you and everything. Don't do that. If have any questions, and always, you should always have a question, because what make me more afraid or I'm fear of, like, that person didn't understand, like, what should they getting into. So explaining those paperwork and explain all the process, that's so important. Scheduling, they can coordinate viewing interactions and other appointments to fit your schedule. And that's what you have to be clear about that as well. When your property can be shown, right? And when you cannot. But also be flexible about that. But he's the one who's going to do the scheduling, knowing that. Filtering. For buyers, realtors can pre-screen properties to save your time and prevent the stress of viewing unsuitable homes. This is a huge, major part. And I do my consulting like that way. I sit down with my clients. I spend more time before even we're going to show the property, so understand, so I can narrow down and filter those properties which is right for my clients, right? Because if I don't do it, it's going to, your time going to be wasted. It's going to be more stressful, and it's going to be my time wasted as well, and stressful as well. Because what's the point? Is if you're doing the window shopping, right? So we have to be specific about it when we go and see the properties, so we can filter that out. Post-transaction support, well, there's a lot. Okay? Your realtor may offer resources or referrals to help with you move, right? They should check in after the transaction to ensure everything is satisfactory, right? That's a good realtor do. A good realtor remains a source of future real estate needs and questions. So it's not like one time is done and it's more transactional. That's why most of the successful realtors are based on relationship. This is a relationship business. We are in people business. We are not just in bricks and mortar business. We are in relationship business and people business. Education and preparation, right? They should able to provide for those new to real estate. Realtors can provide extra education on the process, and that's my thing as well. I do through podcast. I send out those videos, short videos, to explain things better so they can understand better, right? Market reports, regular market updates can help you feel more in control and informed, right? Realistic expectations. Your realtor should help set realistic expectations about the process and potential outcomes. So that's a hard one, right? A lot of time people don't want to hear the real things. They want to hear what they want to hear. And the good realtors have a courage, not just buying the listing by agreeing to everything what the seller is saying. They will provide you good information so you don't waste your time. I know in the street, lots of realtors do that kind of stuff. They agree to everything what the seller is saying, and then properties sit in the market for a long time, and then they reduce the price, which is, I don't think it's a good strategy, because either they don't know the market or they're just buying the listing, what we call buying the listing. Anyway, we can have the full episode about that. So by providing these services, a good realtor can significantly reduce the stress associated with buying or selling a home. They act as your advocate, guide, and support system throughout the entire process. And that's why you hire realtors, right? Remember, it's important to choose a realtor you trust and feel comfortable with, as this relationship can greatly impact your real estate experience. Personality type, that's the other thing. You might have a different personality. Your realtor's different personality and you have a different personality. It's conflict. But knowing your personality type, and a realtor should know their personality type, how they communicate, and they should be able to recognize your personality type, that how you're going to receive that information. Some people are number-based, they are analytical. Some people are emotion-based, right? Some people make decisions more in writing. Some people wants to hear it or see it in order to receive that. So it's very important, how they communicate and what type of personality they have and how you deal with them, right? So remember, it's not just about the property, it's about your well-being too. And here are some general tips to maintain good mental health throughout your real estate journey. Practice self-care, get enough sleep, eat well, and exercise regularly. That's the other thing which, all the schedules go haywire when you're listing your property. Stay connected. Don't isolate yourself during the process. Lean on your support system. Visit your friend, family, whoever they can support you. Eat out a little bit, right? Don't cook maybe, so it can save you time. Set realistic expectations. Not everything will be perfect, and that's okay. So not okay being okay. If you accept that, that'll be great. Take breaks. Step away from the process when you need to recharge. And if your mind not working 100%, take a break. Tell your realtor, I need some time. I have to think it over, or whatever I have to do to reduce that stress. So take breaks, okay? Seek professional help if needed. There's no shame in talking to a therapist or a counselor, like if you need that. I wish not, especially in those situations when divorce situation happen, or you have to sell your house because of the job loss and you cannot afford your mortgage. It can be very stressful. Take that professional help. It goes a long way. So remember, a successful real estate transaction is just about getting the best deal. It's also about maintaining your mental health and well-being throughout the process. So as we wrap up today's episode, I want to emphasize that your mental health is just as important as any property deal. By acknowledging the emotional aspects of real estate transactions and implementing strategies to manage stress, you can navigate this process more smoothly and enjoyably. And if you find this episode helpful, please don't forget to subscribe to a Real Estate Wisdom podcast by Wish and leave a review. Your support helps us continue to bring your valuable insights into the world of real estate. Until next time, this is Wish, reminding you to take care of your mental health as you navigate the exciting world of real estate. Thanks for listening. Bye for now. Disclaimer: the information provided in this podcast is for informational purpose only and should not be considered as financial or investment advice. Consult with your professional before making any real estate decisions.